Welcome back, guys. So I wanted to do something that was Cuman Ram related in Castle Age, and I actually banned several maps, C nodes and other things like that, but I left Arena and Arabia open because I was like, either one I'm willing to try it on. So of course, with Arena and Arabia being available, I got Acropolis. uh, Acropolis is not one of my favorites, but you know what? We're just going to go with it. So, my opponent here in the blue, Camillo, is playing as the Mongols. And I think Camillo was from like Colombia or something like that, from what I remember. And Elo was as high as 1300 and change. Is currently sitting at 1200 ish. And I'm sitting at 1200 ish as well. Low 1200s, that is. And I'm playing as the Cumans, like I said. So I don't have any like specific plan that I wanted to do, except for the fact that I wanted to open with some archers and put some pressure on them while getting to castle. But I really wanted to boom up in feudal. That way, whenever I get to castle, I could go hard in castle. And I really didn't care or have a plan for feudal because I wanted to end this in castle. And I know that when you play against Mongols, they tend to have fast up times because they prioritize hunt. So their feudal and even castle sometimes can be really fast, depending on what they decide to do. Interesting choice. He just has his scout sitting here, not really doing anything. So I wanted to punish him for his fast up times that I assumed he was probably going to have. What was that? That was a delayed ringing of the town bell, and I'm kind of surprised that his elo, he was ringing the town bell to begin with, especially on a boar lure. And this villager, one more hit would have gone down. And is he gonna drop a mill? No, a house. Okay, interesting. And all that time he was letting his scout sit there. He could have been pushing in deer or scouting his opponent. Something interesting about this map generation, usually you'll have the two hills, the Acropolises or whatever, more like facing off against each other, but this generation actually put them touching together. So really close. Very odd. I've never seen an Acropolis like that. Let's see, villagers here, 15 to 14. So I do have one. Well, okay, now he's got 15. So I'm slightly ahead of him. He must have a little bit of idle time going on. But yeah, anyway, so I wanted to open with some archers. You get the reduced cost of archers, archery ranges as the Cumans. Same thing with stables as well. But at some point, I knew I wanted to go into Cuman Rams and get the capped Rams upgrade and really pressure them. Now, it's a risky play against a Mongols player because Mongols have Mangonel, and they're really good at taking out siege, and that's really inefficient. Right? Tell me that this villager, just put him on the other side of the mill. Anyway. Camillo, yeah, going up early like I kind of expected him to. I've played Mongols, probably not as much as him, probably not as much as most people, but I've played Mongols a few times, and the 16 villager or 16 villager scout rush and things like that, those are pretty effective. Even at this elo, they can be pretty effective. So I know that him going up to feudal early and me trying to boom up a little bit, it's going to help me out as long as I can survive his early pressure from the scouts. So 22 villagers to 16 villagers right now. But he is almost in feudal age. I have one more villager queued up and loom. I figured the early pressure is going to be coming on. Boom, he hits feudal, so I was like, yep, it's a good thing I decided to get it. Immediately drops a stable. I really should probably prioritize getting that stable up a little bit faster. Had to clear my throat drinking some Miller High Life here. Interesting fact that I read a while ago, and hopefully I'm not misspeaking, but it said in the news article I read that Miller Lite and Miller High Life are the same beer, just Miller Lite costs more because they pay more for advertising. The Miller Lite is the same ingredients, it just has less alcohol and more water in it. So interesting. I'm pretty sure that's what the article said. Don't quote me on it, or look it up yourself if you want. But that's what I remember reading. So why pay for the advertising? Buy Miller High Life. You get less watered down beer, and you pay less for it. And, oh, so he is in feudal age. So his scouts are faster and have the additional attack. And he's trying to hunt my poor little scout down. Having to draw him back to my town center. So I'm finally in feudal now. I still have a 1 villager lead over him. And the thing about being in feudal now is if I choose to, I can build my own town center at some point. A second town center, excuse me. But first things first, I'm the realist. Got the whole world asking how I does this. Don't ask me to sing. I'm no. First things first, we're going to get these archery ranges up. And he's got his 2 scouts here. He needs to bring his 3rd scout over there. And he's actually already prepping his own range. Interesting. That's really inefficient. Villagers just standing there. I wonder if you'll notice that. Still have a 1 villager lead. And why did he not push his deer in? His scout was just sitting here for so long. This just doesn't seem like something that someone that's been almost 1350 at one point should be doing, but whatever. So he is getting some idle villager time there. Didn't get any kills, but I do have a couple of spearmen already and a couple more queued up. Just bring my villagers back real quick while I send these spearmen forward. And he knows that I'm going to counter his scouts with spears. So he preemptively sent over an archer and has more coming out. I also have my own archers though, because that's what I wanted to go into. And a blacksmith. And I can go double archery range because the archery ranges only cost 100 wood. So I paid 200 wood for 2 archery ranges and he had to pay 175 just for 1. Now prior to them changing things, they updated it. It used to only cost 75 wood, so it'd be 150 for 2. And you could really spam a bunch of archery ranges out. And he hasn't got fletching yet. So once again, I'm being forced off my wood, which is really starting to aggravate me a little bit. Gonna get this scout down though. Still have a 1 villager lead. He's having to fall back and regroup a little bit, trying to really prioritize shooting my spears. I only have 1 spear right there. And he has a score lead, but it's hard to tell just how much of that is anything other than scouting. Let's see here. Yeah, he's got quite a bit scouted. The Mongols have that additional line of sight. I guess I have a decent amount scouted as well. Villager count 32 to 30, so I actually have increased it to a 2 villager lead now. And he's adding in some skirms now because he saw that I had archers. So, you know, both players are doing a pretty decent job of trying to counter each other. I decided, you know what, rather than constantly getting pushed off of stuff up here, because that's where he keeps sending his military, I'm going to build my second TC down here. And don't look at these ugly idle villagers here. We're just going to pretend they don't exist. And we're going to pretend I didn't get housed. But that's what happens when you have 2 town centers, right? So 37 to 33 villagers. So between him going up earlier, a little bit of idle eco time, and then or idle TC time, and then me getting a second town center up, he's falling a little bit behind economically. And the Mongols have a strong economy, so you know that's nothing to sneeze at. Took a pretty decent engagement here. I ended up getting an additional scout out to clear up the skirms. Killed a couple scouts, killed his archers, killed his skirms, and kept the majority of my military alive. Villager count's 39 to 34, but he's on his way to castle. So each time he's been getting up to the next age faster, and significantly faster, not just a little bit. I don't have the food to go up. I need a lot more farms, and right now things are just a little haywire. Have some military here, have some military there. So I'm going to come over to his side and just see what we can do. See if we can do some havoc. I do see over here that he's got a lumber camp. Actually, I wonder if he sees my scout or not. He does not. He does not see my scout over there. But he has 3 of his own scouts. And he has a significant amount of resources already in the bank. So he's doing pretty well for himself. I don't like this really messy lumber camp though. And coming over here, just trying to get a reaction out of him, see what he has, probe him a little bit. Hashtag no homo. Came over here, didn't get a whole lot, just trying to get some idle eco time. Getting some kills over here though. Scouts going down left and right. Cleaning up some archers as well. But he's in castle age now. And I don't think I've even clicked up yet, have I? No, I haven't. I haven't even clicked up yet. And honestly, I need a lot more food. But you know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to go ahead and get some villager kills. Because why not? I did get fletching. And just like that, he's down to 3 military. He's got a scout and a knight and a couple of archers. So 4 military now. At this point here, this is a kind of a throwaway right here, unfortunately, but at this point here, really just trying to delay his eco as much as possible. The score is actually pretty close. He's got more resources in the bank. I've got 51 villagers though to 33. And thank goodness I'm finally on the way to castle. I actually had to spend some gold and buy some food to get up there quickly because I was prioritizing a little too much gold. And that's because originally I wanted to go really heavy into archers to open and ended up not doing that. Trying to force him to garrison villagers and just be generally annoying. He has 2 knights though. One is pretty weakened though. Actually taking the score lead for a little bit. And you know, I was really concerned that playing at 1200 and 1250ish and everything like that elo, I wouldn't be able to compete. I got to that elo by choosing the Polish villager all-in strat, but I've found that I've actually been doing okay. I came down about 50 elo, but I've actually been doing okay now that I'm sitting right about 1200, and I'm finally in castle. And I've changed some things of how I play and how I do things, and you know, still having fun. So immediately I see that he's going into knights, and I want to go into camels. I watched a video recently by a guy on Reddit, and he was going over all the different camels. I can't remember his name, otherwise I'd give him a shout out. But he was going over all the different bonus damage and things that camels have, and I think it's 11 bonus damage, I want to say, that camel riders have. something pretty crazy against knights. So really, because of the mobility, camels are the best counter to knights. That's an inefficient gold mine right there, though. So, once again, stables only cost 100 wood, so 300 wood right there, 3 stables, pumping out camels. And the economy, he actually has caught up almost all the way, 59 to 56. So only 3 villagers behind. He's pumping out from 3 town centers now. Really doing well, catching up. And he's sitting these knights in. Now, I was under the impression that he created more knights than he originally did. But even so, these 3 knights could have done quite a bit if my camels were not here. But the reason why I want to create a lot of camels is not just for the knights that he was making. It's because at this point, I thought to myself, okay, he's got some knights. I build camels. Once I build camels, he'll most likely build some spears. Because he's probably not going to want to go into the regular archer line. He might go into some Mangonel, but I don't know. I just had a feeling that he was probably going to respond by going into spears. And what do you know? 3 stables here. Cleaning up these units over here. I come forward with the camels. And I see, just like I suspected, he has 3 barracks. Not a bunch of archery ranges, barracks. And I see he's already got the pikeman upgrade as well. So at this point, I'm thinking, it's not a bad idea to have some camels around just in case he continues to pump out knights or anything like that. But why don't we go into long swords? And we could do long swords plus capped rams as Cumans. Now, you don't get a discount on the barracks, so those will cost full amount of wood. But, you know, I already have a pretty booming economy. I still have 3 more villagers than he does. And I've had my villagers longer than he's had them. Also not too mad about the military. I have, 18 total military. Most of them are camels, and he just has a few pikes. So I know that he's going to want to go into his ultimate composition, which is probably going to be Mangonel, light cav or hussars, etc. But I want to punish him for going into pikes, because pikes are only good against stable units, and they suck against pretty much everything else. So here's the beginning of going into long swords. I'm adding a second barracks. At some point I'll add several more. 78 to 72 villagers. And coming forward here with my camels. Once again, probing, just trying to see what's going on, what units he's making. He actually sent those pikemen over here that were over here and created more pikemen here. So I'm like, okay, he's got quite a few pikemen, and by me showing my face with these camels, hopefully he'll create more. That's the plan. That's the goal, and he is. Or was. 89 to 81 villagers here, and I'm queuing up the longswords. I've already got some blacksmith upgrades, I think. Yeah. And getting a decent amount of stable or barracks up, excuse me. And he's on his way to Imp. He's on his way to Imp, which makes sense. I mean, Mongols post Imp. And I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Whenever I was playing this game, it was pretty glitchy. I'm not sure why. And now that I'm watching the replay, we're having some glitchiness too. And it's just kind of aggravating. Long swords, they really don't excel against a whole lot except for buildings and cleaning up things like pikes. Luckily for me, we are going to be attacking buildings and pikes. I guess he didn't have a market till now. Interesting. He has a lot of resources in the bank. Needs more wood, but just a ton of resources. And 50% of the way up to Imp as well. I do have the score lead though, which can be deceiving, but he doesn't know what I'm going into. For all he knows, I'm still going into a ton of camels. And here are quite a few long swords. I have 3 siege workshops that I'm producing rams out of now. Let's go to the 105 to 88 villagers. I have 23 long swords, 18 camels, and 2 rams. He has 16 pikes and 1 cav archer. So I feel like it was a bit of a mistake for him to not be creating units. If you want to go Mangonel, you could be creating a bunch of Mangonel. Do it quickly. You know what I mean? If you want to go into knights or light cav even, like you have more than enough resources. You should be pumping them out now. Once you hit Imp, go ahead and get the upgrades. So at this point, I'm thinking, I don't really know if I want to even go to Imp. I just want to hit him so hard, there's no chance of him coming back. We got 31 longswords here now. They have the upgrades. I think there might be one more armor upgrade, can't remember. Going and checking it out. Of course, I'm blind right now. Where is the armor upgrade? Okay, yeah, I have the second armor upgrade. Bum, 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 bum. And here we go. So now he knows what I'm going into. He does have the 98 hit point light cav. I'm almost pop capped though. I have 123 villagers, 188 out of 195 units right now. And here we go. A few pikes probably would not be a bad thing against these light cav. I really don't want them taking out my capped rams. But thankfully they are capped rams, so they're hanging in there better than normal rams would. His Mangonel. Don't have all the upgrades yet. I don't have chemistry. And he's decided, I'm not going to take this fight, I'm going to go and try and attack him. Well, unfortunately for him, I have a lot of TCs, so I'm going to be able to retreat into my town centers for the most part. I don't think I even built a castle in this match, if I can remember correctly. I don't think I even built a castle. Don't go to Imp, don't build a castle, it's all in. And I even brought my camels over here as well. I don't want to take a fight against the pikes, really, but he's chasing me with villagers. And I'm going to use them to help fight over here. And meanwhile, the rams are coming in here. So we have 10 rams and more coming constantly. The resources are plentiful. The units are numerous. And, I mean, you can kill a couple villagers, bro. I mean, cool. But you're fighting under my town center fire, and I'll be alright. Most of my economy is actually over here. Oh, man. So that castle foundation that he tried to get up goes down. Putting pressure on this castle now. He's desperately trying to repair it. And look at all these idle villagers here in this town center. Actually, let's go to here. Yeah, 27, 28 idle villagers right now. Only has 81 villagers. 80. I've lost a few. I'm down to 117. That castle went down. This castle's now about to be pressured by 8 rams. I even added in some pikes of my own now that his pikes have been cleaned up to help against the light cav that he keeps trying to pour in over here. I probably should have just walled it off right here. I could have easily stopped the flow of light cav coming in my base, which is really annoying, but not doing much more than annoying me. And that castle goes down. So that's 3 castles now taken down. 2 castles and 1 castle foundation. His production buildings are going down. The rams are still up. And he's creating just pikes and hussars. That's not going to really stop what I have right now. Plenty of food in the bank, or plenty of wood in the bank, plenty of gold in the bank, but not a lot of food. And now the Rams are coming in for his town center. Still, still sending these light cav in. I mean, it's fine. I got the pikeman upgrade. I got some long swords. We'll handle it. It's fine. Town center goes down now. This is how strong Cuman Rams, capped Rams, can be. And there we go. That's the end. This is how strong Cuman Rams can be when supported by some units. Even though I'm not an imp and I don't have a castle. Now, funny enough, after the game, I was just sitting there looking at my phone for like 15 minutes, and then I saw him message something, and so I clicked back onto the screen, and I looked at it, and it was all in Spanish, so I had to use Google Translate, but he started saying things like, oh, you think you're so good because you won one game. This must be the first game you've ever won. You just barely won. You didn't deserve to win. Just crazy stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I was like, well, I don't know why you're being so salty. Like, and he's like, have a good night, bro, and don't think you're good. I was like, you have a good night too. The thing is, I'd like to point out real quick is I've never claimed to be good. I know that I am definitely below average, and I cast and I do this for fun. You know, I as soon as the game ended, I actually was like, "Hey, check me out on YouTube," blah blah blah. But he didn't respond for like 15 minutes. So you know, I was being friendly, but well, not everybody gets friendly, and I get it. You know, we all get tilted sometimes, but this was a pretty fair and square game that just didn't work out well for him. And it feels good to beat a Mongols player. Honestly, they're so strong. But anyway, I'm rambling now. We'll catch you guys next time.